Hello everybody and welcome to part 9 of my Beastman campaign. So we are just getting ourselves set up for the invasion of the border princes. I've got one of my guys over here already raiding while I build up my other army. We are at an end turn just at the moment, so let's keep going with that. So what I'm doing at the moment is I'm building up Malagor the Dark Omens horde to be a very, very powerful herd actually. So he's going to have a lot of very high level units, beastigors, minotaurs with shields, as well as some centaurs. We are going to try and push to the high level centaur units as well long run with him, but for the moment we can't quite afford to get that just now, but soon. So we'll have a couple of nice units of minotaurs with shields, which gives them a little bit more defense as well as they've got really good attack. The only thing they're not really so good at is fighting against large units. So long run we might get some great weapons ones, but I'm not in any rush for them at the moment. The Bestigors are also going to be very good because they've got reasonable armour as well, considering that they are a Beastman unit. Now that is something I did think was going to happen, so they are heading up for my other horde at the moment, so I do want to just pay attention to what they're doing there, because I don't necessarily want to be fighting a big fight with that horde. While it is a good horde, at the moment it's, I don't want to get in a position where I can potentially have them surround me from lots of different directions and hit me at once, so I'm going to keep that horde on the move, and I may even just hide it away for a turn or two if needs be. Now let's just keep pillaging our way down here. Now you can see I've taken a big hit to my income. That's simply because we've obviously recruited a lot more units. So 2 turns here. I am going to be putting... So what am I getting? I'm getting both of my units of... another unit of minotaurs and 2 units of centaurs there, which should give us a nice rounded setup. Obviously we've still got our 2 units of two gore herds here. That puts me up to 18, so I can actually get another gore herd here. I am tempted to take a gore herd with shields though, just give me a little bit more defense. Don't really know if I need it though. No, I'm not going to do that. And then the other position there is going to be being taken up by the Gorble, which is in this place. I am going to get another Gorble into this army long run as well. So, but no, this means this herd is going to be very powerful, because you see these guys they've got a lot of weapon strength. Well, they don't have that much melee attack. Their melee attack is actually lower. They've also got a lot more armor, so they are. So they are very much... they've also armor-piercing damage. They'll be very good against certain types of units as well. So this gives me a very nice, very solid setup here, which is always good. Anyway, with that, we are going to end turn again. So 2 turns we can get them over, and we'll smash straight into their town, though. I am getting a lot from raiding over there, but that probably means I'm also going to get an awful lot more from their towns. Now we can also pop over into Tilia here and burn through their territory as well. And I'm going to leave Estelia for the moment. Tilia have killed the Skaven faction over here, so I'm fairly sure the other Skaven faction, which has been filling in here behind me, isn't going to be liking them. I think Clan Morse is actually doing quite well off me at the moment, because they're just following along behind me, settling everywhere I burn. That does mean they've got only getting smaller settlements rather than higher level settlements. Though depending on how much food they've got, that doesn't necessarily badly affect them. I think the border princes are going to keep chasing me here, so I'm actually going to jump that army over the hills, just to get them out of the way of their armies with the beast paths, and start raiding in Tilia instead until my other horde is ready. So my other herd is ready just to come over and start hitting them, and then we'll try and bring them both back together, and obviously we'll really start pushing through their territory and burning everything to the ground, as fully expected from a good Beastman herd. I still want to see what that army is for Scourge of Accusation. Okay, so we've got the Dark Moon again. So fully replenished. Extra Bestial Rage, but upkeep. The Endless Horde, but none of my units replenish. That's a horrible one. No replenishment is not something I can afford to be taking while I'm at war. That upkeep is not nice. I'm going to have to take the growth hit for the moment, which is really not good, because that's potentially giving me negative growth there, which means I'm going to start losing some of this surplus I've gained. Right, we are going to jump you over here, so we are out of the way of our armies. You are going to be ready to go again next turn as well. And now we're on quite a big negative. As you can see, that's why I've been raiding away, and I'm putting myself in a situation now where I need to keep raiding to live. So I'm going to try and actually build up a bit of a when I'm kicking through these settlements, I'm actually going to try and build myself up a bit of a surplus of income as well, because that means that I can afford to not raid for a few turns as well. I'm potentially just going to go and take out this settlement straight away, actually, because that should give me a nice big extra boost of income to really help me out and help me as I keep pushing. And means I don't have to be worrying about everything for a few turns. Now, these Crusaders here actually seem to be pushing back now, but I guess that's because they're now one unified force rather than three separate little forces having re-established themselves after I kicked them out, or the other forces out of there. Now, again, I could potentially even look at heading back there long run, but I want to let them. Moment, that's not something really worth me doing. I should let them build up for a while if I want to do that anyway. We've still got a few high elf factions hanging around as well, which is unusual, because in every other game I've been playing of this so far, the high elves just confederate so quickly, actually, which makes them a very powerful force very early on. Okay, and now we are ready. And you can start raiding again, and you are going to start raiding down towards this little settlement down here. And now they are probably realising they're not in the best. Ooh, okay, I can cope with that. However, okay, so obviously I was getting a lot more from however I pronounce that place than I am from being close to the smaller settlement. Which again is hardly surprising. The smaller settlements will generally be generating less money, so you know that's not something I should really be shocked at. I just wasn't quite expecting that dramatic change. But when I smash this place, I should get myself a nice big extra chunk of income to help me with my movement. I'm still not giving you a defensive alliance, Mr. Creek. I don't ally with anybody at the moment, because at some point I might even want to go to war with you, though it is time to start pushing towards the Empire, because we've got two good solid hordes. We've got one very high-end horde and one slightly less high-end horde here, so it really is time to start pushing at the Empire so we can really start pressuring them and causing a lot of damage now. Okay, so we've got all the vampire factions doing their little bits of infighting down here, which again is probably absolutely helping these Crusaders establish themselves, and Queek establish himself in all of these areas which are fallen over here. Okay, I think they're going to regret this, because I am slamming straight into this settlement, and that is an auto-resolve. 34,000 gold there, guys, so that is not a small little boost from destroying there. I would have had to wait a few turns to get that much by straight. Let's take the buff here by straight raiding. You can hit this little settlement. We are declaring war on these guys. That's another easy little auto. And another 9k. So we are now in a very nice situation here. My Gorbel has leveled up again. He can take another bit of health, which gets him up to his max health. And my Lord has leveled up as well. We've got all of the growth. Let's take the extra raiding income. We're going to come over, we're going to deal with the rest of these guys, work our way through this territory. They have changed these settlements slightly. They're a bit more Bretonian now. Now this is the Empire one. So they do look a bit different than I believe they did in the Total War Warhammer one. But no, so we're going to work our way through here, then up through the border kingdoms to really push up our income. And that's another end turn. So I'm happy with the position we're in now. While I took a few too many losses in attacking here than I should have, you know, we've done very nicely out of that attack, certainly. And it really is now, it's time to just start raiding my way through and pillaging and burning. And we will take some growth from some places as well. But at the moment, it's going to be getting our money up. Because the more money I've got a big spare chunk of cash, I don't have to worry if I need to spend a few turns not raiding. Because even now, you know, 45k I could afford to be losing not raiding for a good sort of 15-16 turns if I so wanted, which is not going to be something I'm doing. So the key thing is avoiding, well, I don't necessarily need to avoid pitched battles with these two hordes, which is the other nice thing with how I'm set up at the moment. Okay, so we do have a few armies heading our way, so I do want to try and avoid them, though I'm going to vanish into the hinterlands for a turn or two, because I think I've got the ability to upgrade a couple of buildings now, which is always good to get going, though I'm going to move first before I disappear off into the hinterlands for a couple of turns, and as I said, then it's going to be straight back on the offensive. While they don't know where I am. And that's the other thing about being able to disappear into the hinterlands like that. They lose sight of where you are. And we actually also have a Bray herd now, so I'm disappearing off, so we can start upping these. And the other nice thing about these is upping these buildings is going to save me money on the current units I have as well. Now it's pretty much burning off all my growth there, which again is not something I necessarily need to worry about. You are going to start raiding into this territory. In fact, yes. We'll push that up so we can start recruiting some Cygors. And we're going to start pushing the Bestigors as well. And the Minotaur lair. And then after that, the next thing we're going to go through is we're also going to be going through this one as well to really start pushing it. This is also very good as well, actually. So, you know, there's a lot of things I want. Ideally, I want everything long run, but it's a matter of picking the right things at the right times. Wow, I could potentially even go... I can't go Vadges at the moment because I've just spent a load of my money, but never mind. Yeah, start pushing down this one. And we're still at 17k, so we're hardly poor. And we're going to start raiding here now, and we'll push towards their capital and just see how much is there. Because I think if that's their army they've pulled out from here over there, I can potentially even go and raid their capital with that Bray herd following me along. And the Bray herd with this army as well just adds that much power to it. So it means I've effectively got double the power of that army there at least, depending on how solid that Bray herd is. And the Bray herds are generally very, very powerful armies. So, you know, so I've got a double army there effectively. So even if both those armies were to find me and attack me there, I would still be gaining I would still be doing very well out of it. So I'm quite confident that I can deal with anything they can throw at me just now. And they do definitely know where I am, so... Did I up the building? I don't think I upped the Minotaur building in this herd. I think in this herd, which is what I really do want to do. Okay, so nearly back round to our turn. Go for all of these guys goes. Oh, we've got another rogue army there, which I didn't quite get to see what was called. Yes, we did up this, so we can now recruit another Gorble. So disciplined. All units in army, that's very good. Aggressive. We're going to take the disciplined one. And he can jump straight into this army. And you are going to beast path over here to back up the other herd, who is going back onto raiding stance. Okay, so they've got quite a lot of armies around there, so I don't necessarily... I'm going to move myself up here so that if I do get attacked, I will have a choke point battle. Also, that way I can move my other herd on to me a bit quicker, and then we're going to start pushing towards here. Okay, so that's another end turn. So that Bray herd is not so powerful. But again, it doesn't necessarily need to be a really powerful grey herd. No, I don't want a military alliance with you, because I might even head over and smash you to pieces at some point. I don't see why. I will take alliances when I have to, but I'm not going to be taking defensive alliances and large amounts of alliances when I don't have to, as these guys, because it reduces my choice of targets to attack. It looks like these Crusaders are pushing even more into the vampire territory now, so you know, while I don't need to go down to deal with them at some point, they're just worth keeping an eye on, because they are a power and they definitely don't like me, so it's definitely worth keeping an eye on them, especially if they really do start consolidating all of their territory. So they've run around because they don't necessarily know I'm not there. So they are... Oh wow, I didn't actually put my Gorble into the army. That's of course, because it's a newly spawned unit, so it doesn't necessarily move on the first turn. Now they're sprinting their other army around as well, but we're going to have both of our hordes in one place soon, which is going to make us, especially with our Bray herds on top of us as well, that is going to make us a force to be reckoned with. And then we're going to start moving on and burning through the territories. And again, at some point soon, I might even pop out my third herd, because I want, you know, you don't want to be leaving it too long before you get your herds in order. You can keep heading this way, Mr. Gorble. We are not moving this turn. I'm not coming out of raiding stance at the moment. Okay. So it's end turn again, and then we'll both be in raiding stance again next turn, and it's going to be going and smashing their town. And then it's going to be just burning our way north up into Empire territory, where things are probably going to be a bit messy, because actually the border kingdoms, so the border princes here, have actually managed to consolidate quite nicely, which is actually something they're not meant to do. They're meant to actually find it really hard holding on, because they're meant to be one of the last sort of bastions of humans before the orcs. So they're meant to have constant sort of incursions from the orcs there, really are making it difficult for them to hold on the edge of civilization, which is quite odd considering you've got all the Crusader kingdoms down here as well, but we won't comment too much on that. down in this area is Araby, certainly the desert areas. I don't know of the jungle areas, and further down you've got the Southlands as well. Oh no, he's tried to assault me. Oh, and here, so they've got a lot of armies coming in here, so that's going to be a big battle there. Though I might even potentially be able to intercept that little army. And see what's going on. And I believe both my armies have lightning strike as well, so I might be able to smash their armies separately one at a time, which will also once again be very useful. And I am beginning to see why some people do like. So this is the Celestial Storm. Right, let's move up and start sieging. They do have a very big army there, but soon, so am I. Oh, wrong button. However, they can still reinforce, and that already brings it up, and I don't have my Bray herds with me there. So, let's end turn, and now we're going to have 2 Bray herds on top of this as well. So we will have 4 armies coming into this battle, which is really, really going to help it. Which means we're probably going to crack Tilia, and then we're going to move up and take on their last thing and push back into the border kingdoms. I'll take that other guy out of that stance next turn and put him back on raiding stance. Not that I really need him to be on raiding stance, but that does mean that I don't need to be worrying that they won't be. I believe, depending on the stance, it affects their vigor, so they'll be weaker or stronger potentially, but you know they'll most likely be quite a bit weaker. Other thing I could do is once that's something interesting to do. Once I've poked the Empires of Men a bit, I might go and have some fun with the Wood Elves, because they are technically my mortal enemy, so I can potentially cause a lot of damage to them as well, and really burn through the woods of Athel Loren. But I don't want to get too cocky. I'm not there yet. You know, these guys have quite strong armies, so if I play it wrong, I can still lose. So I don't want to get too cocky, though they are pulling that other army back, because I think they've realised that, yeah, no, they're not in a good place there. Okay, so let's see exactly how much damage I'm going to do here. I'm going to be honest, this isn't a battle I want to fight myself, because dealing with this many troops on a map at once is painful, and I won't actually get them all. So what will happen is I will get people back in. Do nothing, I don't want to take another hit to my horde growth at the moment. Let's make sure I'm sending this at the right one. Okay, I am going to auto this, as I said, because this is just a horrible, horrible thing to actually have to fight. I lost some units, and I did lose a few units, but nothing major. And 45,000 gold, guys. So, you know, while I did lose a few units, it's nothing I can't afford. Right, so what did I lose here? I lost one of these. I'm going to do a little bit of unit merging, and we'll get a couple more units of those guys out. That's reasonable. And what did I lose here? I didn't lose anything because these guys were already on 19, though. We'll do a little bit of unit merging and rebuild. Okay, we'll do a lot of unit merging and rebuild. I can't actually put them into the right stance this turn, so I've just killed off his Bray herd, but that's not a huge issue there. So, okay, and let's end turn again. So we'll start pushing up and doing a little bit more raiding while I rebuild. Though I'm still in a good situation here. We got a lot of money out of that, so we've got a fair few turns of grace at the moment, which really will help us out again. Right, so straight on to Zarkzil next, but again, I want to build up. That was a very, very big battle. I should have fought it myself, but no, ones like that where you've got 5 or 6 armies, I just find very hard to fight because you can't have everything on. There's so many units to auto, and I would not have done that as well there. So it's a bit cheeky of me, but especially as it would have taken forever to fight that battle. So at some point I probably will try and fight a battle like that, but it's not going to be at a point like this where it's probably a little bit more important. No, I'm not taking that non-aggression pact. Okay, so nearly back round to us. That is Tilia pretty much crippled now. There's not much they can do. Oh, they've recapped here, so I'm going to send a little force down here to to get some growth out of there, actually, while we raid up here. Okay. We take the recruitment cost for the time being. So you can move back to raiding stance, and you can start heading up into here. You can move away a little bit, then you can switch to this stance, at which point you can start doing some recruitment. $18. Ooh, we can get him a Sigor. This is where it gets tricky, because I try 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because it's working out what you want to drop to get some of these units. I don't want to spend a couple of turns at the moment, so I'm not going to get a Sigor just now. I want a quick unit to recruit because I want to go and hit that other little settlement. So we're just going to get some straight Ungors as well because they're a bit cheaper. We're going to hit here, clear this out for a bit of extra growth, and then we're going to move on. Who's leveled up in here? My Gorbel has again. Okay, so, and we do have some building I want to be doing in here. I am going to take that one simply because I want to be reducing the... Yeah, we've got a Minotaur, so I want to be reducing the cost because that way I can then start getting another horde on the way as well. Okay, and that's another end turn. Okay, this will be the last end turn, guys. So, again, sorry I didn't fight that battle. I really should have fought that battle because actually thinking about it would have been epic to watch, even if it was horrible for me to fight. So, next time we get one like that, I will try and fight it. I will do a cheeky save first though, because I'm not, as I said, those really, really large battles are just, they're just not as nice to fight because you've got so many units, then you've got waves and waves of reinforcements coming in as well, and it just becomes a bit of a slog, though I would have potentially done a lot better than I did. Though, I didn't do that badly from the auto-resolve, I didn't lose too many. I mean, it was mostly my, Bray herds which took the damage, which actually is not something I'm that upset about. Okay, so they're actually moving around behind me, which means they've left this little settlement right open. I'm going to leave the other settlement there because then they can slowly rebuild behind me, which I'm not so fussed about because I can always come back this way later to re-sack their settlements again after they've built them up, which is something which is quite good to do, you know, just to keep clearing through. At some point, I believe I've got to kill all of the old world human factions, so that's going to include all of these guys. at which point I will start doing a far more thorough job of clearing out these areas. But again, that isn't something I necessarily need to start doing right away. Okay, so let's I'm just going to stay on the edge here for the moment. You can now start raiding down. The first thing you can do is you can poke this army. And then you're going to go raiding into this next territory. Let's eat some man flesh. I don't actually have this one here. We don't have light. Ooh, don't have lightning strike with these guys. That was a bad thing for me not to have. Okay, guys, and we are going to save it here. End this session here. Next turn, we will turn our eyes back towards the border princes. Oh, we've got this guy leveled up, so straight away I'm going straight for the leadership again, just to up this army and get back up again. But no, as I said, so we will start heading back towards the border princes. So I do need to do a little bit of spend a couple of turns chilling out as this army. In fact, I'm going to do that here, just to get a bit of regen and my units back up to full HP. So I'm not, so I'm in a better position to keep fighting from. Anyway, guys, as always, thank you very much for watching. I will be trying to get a few more of these up tomorrow because I do have the day off, but I do have a few things to do in the day as well. So I'm not promising it's going to be a huge amount. Thank you very much, guys.